Hello, YouTube. I just want to share a little story about how experiences in Scotland influenced my music and really inspired me. So, basically, my love for Scotland started when my wife and I we were traveling to Scotland 2 or 3 years ago. We ended up in this village, in this place called Dornoch, which is a bit north to Inverness, and there was a pub, and we went to the pub to eat, and they told us stay here, we're gonna have live music later this evening, and we were there, and the band played, and it was this multi-generational band, so like from the grandfather, I guess, to like the smallest kid that also playing, and everybody was there, the whole town, and everybody was like singing or just moving with the music, also kids running around, and everybody was, and it inspired me, and I asked myself why doesn't a thing like this happen also in a place where I live. So, or maybe I just don't know that something like this happens. So and then I went back to Scotland again and again and again and again and again. And this spring I was there with some friends for exactly the thing, because my wife doesn't really like to stay up really late when we're traveling and we're hiking and stuff. So I was back with some friends of mine, and the first thing that we encountered that really inspired me was in Glasgow. We entered this pub, I guess it was an Irish pub or something like that, and they played like young people played there, and they played like mad. So I haven't seen something like that in real life before, and I was really astonished. They just sat on the table in the middle, and they played really insanely, like fast, and I've never heard something like that. And it was really cool because they were also drinking their beers or their whatever that they ordered. And every time a song went to an end, they just looked up to the screen, which was behind them, and soccer was going on. It was so funny. They were talking about it constantly during their session. And then somebody started with something, and everybody joined, and that was wonderful. So. But I couldn't figure out what the guitar player was doing, because I saw his thing, and I'm playing guitars myself for years, but I couldn't like figure out what he was doing. Then I realized that was this Dadgat tuning, which I previously heard but never really saw it how it really worked, and so that was one thing that inspired me. Just like, yeah, why not doing something really different? And the other thing, like the day after, we went to Oban, and from Oban we took the ferry to Mull. And Mull, this is a small town, just before you enter the ferry to Iona. And this town is called Fionford, and it has like about 80 people or something like that. So, and we were there just eating and stuff, and after it got crowded with local folk that just entered the room, and they brought their guitars and their saxophone and whatever. So everybody was there, and it was insane because this village was so small, and the next village is like, I don't know, we have to drive for half an hour or something, or even more, to a really big place, another town. So, and they were playing. It was in the middle of the week, and they were playing for hours. And I sat there and was really fascinated. It was always like this: somebody started the song, and then the others listened, and then joined or tried to join or whatever. And musically, the level wasn't that like really high thing, but it was so inspiring because the joy they had and taking turns, and after every song they clapped and drank another sip of their beer, and it was so inspiring. Then I thought to myself, I know so many musicians that are doing that like as a profession, and still aren't that joyful and happy while they're playing, and that really got me thinking. So, but in the end of the evening, it was like 1 in the morning or something like that, and there weren't that many people left, and I also asked if I could take the guitar and play along. I didn't knew the songs mostly, but it was cool because one of the guys showed me a song. He called, like, you have to know that's like a famous Scottish song, and I was it was cool to learn how to play that, and yeah, and then we went home. It was just, I don't know, it was such a lovely evening. So, and I took a lot of photos. The landscape is just beautiful, and at home when I couldn't be in Scotland, just as a therapy, I guess, I painted aquarels, so watercolors, from my photos that I took, just to remind myself of the peace and calm that I experienced there. And I made an exhibition once. It was so cool because one guest actually was from Scotland, so he was visiting Switzerland, and he saw this exhibition, and he came and looked at pictures, and we talked about what places you basically have to see and stuff. And he told me about this movie, and this movie is called Where You're Meant to Be. It's a documentary about a folk singer, kind of comedian, kind of dude that is traveling through Scotland, and with questions about tradition and music. It's really funny, so I wanted to see the movie, but it's not available here around. So when I headed back in autumn to Scotland, I went to a shop, and they had to get it out of the archive. So I guess it's not that of a famous thing, or maybe I was in the wrong shop, whatever. So basically I got a copy of the movie, and I watched it, and it blew me away. It was just wonderful. So if you have the opportunity to see the movie Where You're Meant to Be with Aidan Moffat, that's something. So, and in this movie there is one scene where the protagonists are playing with an older man, and then they play music together, and they try to find a song which both know, and he is also able to sing along. And they pick this tune, the Wild Mountain Thyme. At this point they were playing, and it was so an emotional moment, and I searched the song, what kind of song is it? And I figured that there are a lot of different versions around, and I wanted to play it. And I'm in school. I'm a teacher, so I teach music and art. So I took the piano and searched for chords and stuff, and it's just a beautiful song. I wanted to do a cover, and then I realized that somehow the change between verses and chorus is really slightly different than what I'm used to in my tradition. So I remembered that the song that they told me on Mull in Fionford, in this pub, that was like similar. And then I searched for videos that we made with our cell phones and stuff. Then I realized it's the exact same song that they taught me. But it got stuck in my head, and so the whole thing went full circle. That's like the two things that I wanted to share with you. So one is the whole Datgat thing, which I now use when I play guitar, and I absolutely love it. So the last two songs I wrote are heavily inspired by Scotland. So one is Waves, and the other is Stones, and they're also played in this Datgat tune. The other thing is the whole thing about the joy of playing music. So I started again to take my guitar, go to the edge of the village near the forest, and sit there, just play and be happy. And it's so hard to, when you think about how could I possibly forget that, because I had that for so long, but I had to travel to another place to find my own home, which is really weird when you think about it. But yeah, that's what I want to share. And so my last two songs, check them out. You also see videos that I took during my trips in Scotland, and I hope you enjoy. And so I'm gonna make also a version of this traditional Scottish folk song, and I hope you are going to enjoy it. Just that. I have no clue why I actually made this video, but I don't care. See you.